Hello, this is Kevin Partner from yourcraftbusiness.co.uk and makingyourowncandles.co.uk. I wanted to make a quick video to introduce you to EtsyRank.com. Now, this is a free web service that is integrated into Etsy, although it's not an official part of Etsy at all. It's an external application. Its role is to analyze your listings and help you to improve them, but even if you don't sell on Etsy, it's a really useful tool for working out the trends in your industry. So we're going to take a look at it in that context. You will need to sign up at EtsyRank.com and you will need to have an Etsy account, but that doesn't mean that you need to actually be using Etsy to sell anything. So when you get into EtsyRank.com, we're going to look at three parts. We're going to look at the keyword tool, the trending, and the color trend. In fact, let's begin with the trending. Now, Etsy obviously tracks data on what people are searching for at any particular time. And what we're looking at here are the tags that sellers have attached to their products. So if a product appears within Etsy's trending report, this EtsyRank report will pull out of that product the tags that have been used with it. So if, for example, there were 100 products in that trending report, I don't know how many there are, but there are probably thousands, but what this report does is it takes those most popular products and finds out how common the tags that the sellers have put on are. So it's now September, so perhaps predictably, Christmas gift is starting to show up as a popular tag. But anyway, you can see here what sorts of things people are buying on Etsy, or at least what they're searching for. Halloween's in there as well, so obviously tags related to seasonal goods are important. Materials is less so, I suppose. I mean, people aren't going to necessarily be searching for materials. What they are going to be searching for are birthday and Christmas presents. So you can have a look through this, and then if you click on, I don't know, Christmas gift. So we've now loaded up the keyword tool with Christmas gift pre-selected. And what we're looking at down here is how popular, these again are tags that have been added by the seller. And we're looking at how often these tags appeared in the top 100 Etsy results for this keyword. So, for example, imagine that someone's typed in Christmas gift. The products that are returned will have these tags attached to them. I mean, some of them are clearly multi-purpose products in that they can be a birthday gift or a gifts for him, gift for her. So, I mean, this isn't necessarily particularly useful, except that it shows you what sorts of things people on Etsy think, or successful people on Etsy think will sell well. So we pop back to trending. And you can now explore all of these and see what see whether anything interesting pops up in relation to your particular craft. I want to quickly look at color trend, which is quite interesting. If you organize this by searches, because that's what's most useful, so you can look and see what colors are most popular, and you can see that coffee and chocolate are by far the most popular. This ought to help you when it comes to deciding what colours your products are going to be. You can see that some of these, I mean, even these have masses of views, but as we go down we find that some things that might have been popular, I mean, electric blue and cerise might have been popular some time ago, but now it's all about browns and golds. Now let's go back to the keyword tool, and what you'll probably want to do here is actually type in a general keyword for your craft. So let's start with mug and click look up. Okay, we can see that there are 50,000 listings for mugs. And again, I want to remind you that these are the tags. These aren't what the customer has searched for. These are the tags that the seller has put on mugs that have appeared in the top 100. So in other words, these are popular. So if we look right at the top, coffee mug is a tag that's commonly used. I'm not sure how useful that is. I mean, obviously a lot of the majority of Etsy customers are American, so perhaps they all type coffee mug in. But what you can see is that funny coffee mugs are people looking for something humorous, personalized, a mug with a quote on, custom. I mean, if you add all of those up, you get, well, what are we getting? We've got, if we so for a funny customized mug, you're looking at about 25%. And there's another, well, in fact, it's more than that, isn't it, if you add that one in? If we look at, so if we take, say I was interested in creating personalized mugs, I'll click on personalized mug there, and now it will show me the tags just for personalized mugs. You can see, not surprisingly, coffee mug appears a lot. And by looking through here, you can see possibly you can get hints as to what's going to sell well on Etsy. Got the sloth mug there. But if we have a look up here, you'll see that there's a lot of average views for this, and you can even see what the average price paid was. We can see that the competition for this is pretty high. I mean, if it were me, I would be looking at this one, the name mug, the monogram mug, because the competition is lower and there's still forms of customized mug. But if I majored, say for example, I was going for this, I would put the words name mug into my title, and monogram mug would be a separate product, because then they will rank better in Etsy's search results. Okay, let's try something different. Let's try candle and see what we get. So here we are. Now, these are not going to surprise you particularly, I shouldn't think. You can see that, I mean, it actually is quite interesting that only 10% of the candles have the tag soy candle in them. I would be surprised if as few as 10% are soy candles. If it turns out that is actually true, then that's an opportunity. And we can look down and see again what sorts of things people are looking for. We've got personalized candle here, scented candles. If we go for personalized candle, and again you can see what the average price is. There's a lot of listings, not a massive number of views. I mean, that would bother me a little bit, to be honest. Let's go back to candle, look down the list. We've got book candle. Now, does anyone know what a book candle is? Because I certainly don't. If I click on book candle, that tells us that I mean, I would imagine that most book candles, whatever they may be, are soy. So we've got book candle and book candles, literary candle, but perhaps that's the connection, that's what they mean. Perhaps it's book quotes. Okay, so that's an interesting one. Again, not masses of views, reasonable price. Competition in this is medium, and we have to bear in mind that if we're based in the UK, although only a small percentage of Etsy customers are British, the competition is medium, and you may well find that you're the only person selling a book candle in the UK. So let's just go into Etsy and use that information. So if I go into the Etsy site and type book candle, and this is what we see. Now then, incidentally, you'll notice that at the top, in the top row here, is ad. That's because the top 4 have been paid, have been promoted into this position by the shop owner paying for them to be this high up. These ones here are not. So in fact, if you were to look at what we might call organic listings, then this one is the top ranking one. I mean, that one looks more like a book candle to me because it at least has the words Wuthering Heights on it. And we've got one here that is based on The Hobbit. I mean, well, looking at these, Dumbledore's office, that seller is asking for trouble because Dumbledore is almost certainly a trademark term and shouldn't be used. But, you know, if that's a nice candle, I don't rate any of the rest of them. I mean, this one is I hope whoever created it isn't watching this video, but that's not great, that design. This one's a nice one. We can assume that this one is selling moderately well. Just to quickly get back to the ad point, this is actually one of the most powerful things with Etsy. At the moment, Etsy ads are quite new, and that means that you can actually promote your product very cheaply. I mean, really for pence. And what that means is that if you develop a new product, say based on the research that we're looking at, you can put a little bit of money behind it, £5 or £10, which will cause it to appear up here, unless you're very unlucky. That will put it in front of people, and then you'll learn whether they buy or not. Because part of the problem with marketplaces like Etsy is actually getting your product in front of people. You've got two problems. Firstly, will they buy it? But secondly, how can they buy it if they never know it exists? This solves that problem, and it's actually quite a good system. We've make our own candles. We've not made a success of Etsy yet because we sell candle making supplies, and people buying candle making supplies do not buy them on Etsy. But we found that out by paying for ads and finding out what our conversion rate was. Let's just have a quick look at this one. I have to say, I'm still not totally convinced I understand what a book candle is or why this is a book candle. I mean, it's got it in the title there. Is there a book called The Green Light? Maybe. Let's have a quick look. So this is soy wax. Now this is interesting. I've noticed that at the bottom here we talk about them being vegan and cruelty free. We use words like all natural soy wax. We hand pour, which is great. I mean, this is all fantastic. But what is a slight red flag for me is this, the use of the word fragrance oils. Now fragrance oils are man-made. They're chemicals. So yes, it may. I mean, I have no reason to believe that it isn't cruelty free. That's absolutely fine. But yes, the soy wax is relatively natural, although it is processed. The essential oils are natural, but the fragrances most certainly are not. It's quite a good example of copywriting, actually, in that the implication is given that what you've got here is something that's all natural. It most certainly isn't. Essential oils are not super fragrant. If they're putting the maximum amount of fragrance oils in there, it will smell quite strongly, but ocean air, for example, is going to be a fragrance. Vanilla will be a fragrance because I can absolutely guarantee that that is not an essential oil because it costs more than your house. It's extremely expensive, vanilla essential oil. So anyway, so that was by way of a slight detour. This would be something that if I were making candles, I would be interested in experimenting with at least. If we have a look then at this one here, this is a right. Now this is actually a British one. I mean, it's a lovely candle. I must admit, I'm impressed with this. Lovely packaging, lovely label. I'm willing to bet it's soy. He says, having not looked. No, it's not. Well, there you go. That's why I don't make bets. Well, good on them. They've produced a lovely candle. It's actually very difficult to produce nice candles in clear glass. So I'm impressed. Hold on. They're using an opaque white finish. Yeah, well, I don't blame them for that. Oh, and in Winchester, not far from me. Well, that is actually an example of a fantastic Etsy listing, and something that deserves to do well. Yeah, I'm impressed with them. I may look into them. They're obviously, it would appear that they're making a success of it, because they're appearing at the top of the organic listings. So anyway, so that's led us down a bit of a rabbit hole. But I would be surprised if I couldn't get into position 2 with something that I produced. You've got to be careful with things like if these are mainly literary quotes, you can only use those that are out of copyright. And unless you're prepared to take the risk, which I certainly wouldn't. So that was a quick example of how to use EtsyRank. As I said, it doesn't only apply to Etsy. Book candles have a certain level of popularity on Etsy. They will have a certain level of popularity elsewhere. I would be interested in looking on Amazon to see if book candles exist. Possibly on eBay. Certainly on Folksy. If I were interested in getting into candle making and wanted to come up with my list of potential products, this is a good place to come to find out what people actually buy. And that's a good starting point. Rather than guessing, rather than looking at what other people appear to stock, have a look at what people are searching for on platforms such as Etsy and begin your product research with those ideas. Because as you can see, I mean, I've just gone down a rabbit hole. I'm now interested in book candles. Who knows where these ideas might end. So that's that. Sign up for EtsyRank. You'll need an Etsy account and see what you can learn about Etsy customers.